Hey guys, how's it going? It is my different username here, and today we'll be taking a look at the longest serving modern assault rifle of the French military, lasting almost 40 years of use, and we'll even talk about what stands out on this rifle compared to many other rifles, and get a chance to talk about its rise and fall in history as well. Here we have the Famas F1 made out of Lego. So, the Famas, or also known as the Bugle, is the bullpup assault rifle designed and manufactured by the old French weapons manufacturing company called MAS, founded back in 1764. The French around the 60s were considering adopting the HK-33 as a possible service rifle to use, but didn't want to use foreign weapons for themselves and instead make their own rifle, which by 1978, the Famas F1 was announced as the new service rifle of the French military, replacing the old MAT 49 SMG. Surprisingly, the Famas lasted from 1978 all the way to 2016, where it eventually ended up being replaced by the adoption of the German HK-416F assault rifle. Whew, how the times have changed. Anyway, the rifle itself was still really good for the use it had. Its use of the bullpup design helped mitigate itself for more CQC, which in turns overpowered the use for submachine guns. Its barrel length is actually longer than that of an M4 carbine, but surprisingly the gun is shorter than the M4, making both CQC and long-range accuracy possible. Now onto the Lego model. This gun wasn't very challenging to make, but making the accommodations for all the different angles definitely took a while to achieve, and I even added some upside down techniques here and there to help mimic more of these bizarre angles, but I'm glad to see how it all turned out in the end. Right here is the pistol grip and trigger guard, and it's been built to have a nice ergonomic feel to it. Also, with this design, you can identify the difference between an F1 model versus a G2 model, as seen here. On the F1 model, it's possible to take the trigger guard and swivel it away from the grip to allow the use of gloves if ever needed. Also, under the grip, pulling away this back panel opens up the port to the oiler kit that's hidden inside the grip, which was also scaled down just so it can actually fit inside of it, obviously, and can be easily put back into place, no problem. I don't know, I just think it's cool to add little details like this to the gun, even though obviously it doesn't need an oil kit, but eh. So, since I'm down here on the grip, I might as well try my best to explain what I want to say is the strangest fire selector system on a weapon I have seen so far. It has one switch in the front of the trigger and one switch behind the magazine. The switch in the front controls the safety, which blocks the trigger, but my model doesn't have a functional safety, unfortunately. But if you turn the switch to the right side of the gun, it's thrown into semi-automatic mode, and if you turn it to the left side, you have two options of fire modes to choose from, and that's where this switch comes into play. When this switch points away from the magazine, it's set into a 3-round burst firing mode that fires at around 1,200 rounds per minute, but when the switch is pointed towards the magazine, it's thrown into full auto mode, firing at around 900 rounds per minute. It's strange to wonder why all the fire selections aren't just in one convenient spot on the rifle, but it just may have to do with how the trigger assembly was built into the gun. The magazine is very significant to this rifle, where it almost looks like an AR magazine, but instead it's actually a straight magazine that holds 25 rounds of 5.56 by 45mm and has a notch in the front to work with the magazine release system on the weapon. It features a bullet on the top as well as some modifications of pieces along the side to hold the bullet in place with this color scheme, while being able to properly slide the mag into the magwell with no issue. It's almost weird how you reload the gun too. You don't necessarily slide the mag vertically up, you almost have to tilt the mag then push it into place because of how the magwell is built. Either way, it's still a nice crisp feeling to reload this gun, and it's pretty cool. The charging handle sits above the receiver and under the carry handle. It's a really nice system, but can be difficult to pull back while freehanding, but it's definitely a lot easier to use with the stock against your shoulder. The charging handle also affects the bolt on the gun, obviously, and what makes this system stand out from other rifles is that it doesn't rely on a gas system to cycle rounds, but instead a simple blowback system, which is more commonly seen on pistols. It's controlled by a lever inside the bolt that helps shift its weight to create a longer drive for the bolt to properly extract the spent round, chamber a new round, and repeat this process flawlessly. Also, like most of the other features on this rifle, this bolt can be ambidextrous and assists the shooter. For example, this cheek rest that can be set up on the left side for typically right-handed shooters could be set up on the right side for left-handed shooters, so it extracts cases to the left accommodating to those who favor left-handed shooting. Also, my model actually wasn't built to swap this out, but the real model can do this, and I kinda just wanted to show it off anyway. This rifle also includes the default feature of a foldable bipod system that can easily be detached, folded outward, and is really simple to use. It supports the weight of the gun very well and actually makes a really nice bipod to use. Although previously, I made a different design for the bipod that I think is more accurate to the original look on the real rifle, but unfortunately just doesn't hold up well. Really, it just doesn't hold up at all. There isn't much to talk about with the stock. I mean, it's nice, and it's basically an oval shape from top to bottom, and the back of it actually features this strange dotted pattern that looks really cool, but also helps keep the gripping on the shoulder while firing. Also, keeping up with the ambidextrous details on this gun, there is a sling mount setup on the left and right side of the stock. Up next, we have the sights, which are both contained within the carry handle, which is pretty nice actually, and can hold the gun pretty well. Whoa, guys. Hello? Did we fix it? Are we good? Alright, so, the sights are fairly simple, just a notch in the front and a ring in the back. Also, they line up really well while aiming the rifle, and I gotta say, I'm actually really surprised how comfortable it feels to aim down this gun. It just feels perfect. Now, finally, onto the last bit of info for the gun, which surprisingly happens to be the barrel, out of all things. Yeah, I know, weird. But it turns out that you can physically tell the difference between a military model of the Famas versus a civilian model, and that's by the ringed barrel, which I somewhat mimicked here on my model. The military model features an adjustable sliding collar on the barrel for barrel-mounted grenades to be fired, and the rifle features a grenade sight under the carry handle, and also the addition of adding a fixed bayonet onto the gun as well. The bayonet is nice, has a long blade, and I gotta say, I'm a huge fan of how the grip was designed, and I even teased the locking system of how the real knife is mounted to the gun. I would really love to charge this into battle, but unfortunately it's not the most stable mount, and can easily break just due to the design of the barrel. Either way, it still looks really cool with the bayonet mounted, and it's a nice add-on for a weapon type like this. Overall, it's pretty easy to see why this gun was so popular and why it was used in the French military for almost 40 years. It's extremely iconic in its looks as well as functionality, but couldn't outlast that of more modern age rifles. Still though, a fun rifle to make and a pretty simple video as well. Took a while to get the certain parts for it like normal, but it was definitely worth it at the end of the day. You should really check these out. So, subscribe to see more epic LEGO builds just like this, like, favorite, and comment if you have enjoyed, and, as always, thanks for watching!